back to the For the Badge podcast. A whole lot has happened since our last episode. We got FA Cup, we got the No One Cares Cup, and we got some Premier League action coming at you this weekend. A couple of derbies, a couple of good ones. But first, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, get it on so you know that we got more videos coming for you. And as I said, there's a lot to get through, so I think FA Cup's the best place to start. And I wanted to actually kind of flip what we've done in recent times, and let's get through a couple of the maybe honorable mention games first, and then we'll get into City and Chelsea, and that'll kind of bleed into the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
So I think a couple points about the Arsenal game is where we can start. It was Oxford. Biggest talking point really is Fabio Vieira for me because he's not great. I've said it to you, X. We've talked about it sometimes when he's come in some of the Europa League in the Carabao Cup games. He's just, and one thing I've noticed that I think is probably the only thing worth noting is that he needs a confidence booster. He comes on the field and he went missing for 70 odd minutes, 60 odd minutes, but then he hits the free kick and we get the goal. And then 4 minutes later, he makes a great pass for the second assist. And I'm like, well, there goes all my BS about how he's, because now no one's going to be like, oh, yeah, Fabio Vieira sucks. No, he got 2 assists.
Well,
yeah. It's interesting, and my first big point kind of stems off of this, and it'll kind of encompass everything because I read an article from Ian Darka, one of my favorite commentators, about how some of the bigger teams and the bigger coaches are no longer taking the FA Cup seriously. And I think when we get to it, that's a little bit a case of what happened today to City in the different cup, but we'll get to that. Let's see. Another one I wanted to mention was Wrexham beat Coventry City away, and I didn't really know anything about Wrexham. I heard that they were on the TV show. I haven't seen it yet, but good on them. Good on them for sure. Advancing the FA Cup. I know there's like a million teams.
Yeah. Every team in England.
Yeah. The Liverpool Wolves game. Any highlight?
No.
Anything about it?
Wait. VAR?
Yeah, ton of controversy, and one of the greatest passes I think I've ever seen for the first goal. Just like Alexander-Arnold has come back from the World Cup, and I mean I hate him as much as the next guy, and I think his defending is not as good as it could be, but the pass for the first goal is just absolutely ridiculous. Like my grandmother would have scored this because it was on such a silver platter. Tap it. I mean, it just begs the question, where is this prowess all season long? How can, and it's, I don't know, Liverpool are such an enigma, man, because they can't defend at all and they can score in flashes. Yeah, I don't know, but this game was crazy because Wolves fought back, and sleep on Lopetegui, if you will, that new coach, but Wolves have improved dramatically since the World Cup. They've quietly turned the relegation fight into a 17 battle.
Oh, yeah.
But the real
I saw
talk,
Noodles score.
Yeah, he did. I was about to say the unthinkable happened.
Yeah,
that's because of
but you called it, Jake. But you called
pass?
it. It's in a cup. It's in a cup game. So or Lewis might have said it. It's in a cup game. So it doesn't. He won't score in the league. He scored in the cup all day.
Well, that's what I'm saying, dude. You can go look at this highlight because this pass is absolutely ridiculous. It's unbelievable, the pass for the goal. And that's why I said that my grandmother.
In the 44th. Oh yeah, here we go.
Got it.
Oh yeah, dude, Trent. Holy cow.
So nasty.
But that's what Trent does. He hits those cross-field just lasers. Just
yeah,
gunpowder it, man. That was awesome.
But I don't suppose you're still watching the rest of that highlight because
I paused it, yeah.
First of all, Wolves were way better. Wolves were much the better team. And they fall back, get the equalizer, and then there's just VAR madness. It's the same thing, honestly, and I have to be honest about this. It's the same thing that happened in the Arsenal-Liverpool game, where there wasn't a good camera angle for them to overturn the call.
That's
This
crazy
was
to me.
this is what has come out, and I'm like, Twitter has an angle for you, buddy. Twitter, Instagram, like it's everywhere. This photo of Nunez having run back and he's somehow still offside because VAR says we don't have the camera angle.
Yeah.
The Wolves coach was so mad. Like, he was so mad in that conference. You got every right to be. You have every right to be mad after this one because it was crazy. It was nuts. And just more problems with VAR. Just more.
What exactly was Allison doing or on the first goal for Wolves? Like, that's terrible. Like,
yeah.
I mean, just boom it. Like this, you got a guy coming up on you, just boom it. So it was a weird game. I watched bits and pieces of it. Of course, I saw the Nunez goal, which was all Trent Alexander. Like, if Nunez missed that, he just seriously just needs to walk off and no longer play ever again.
Noodles, too much pressure.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's also Liverpool at Anfield. That's weird things happen there. I mean, they should have lost, exactly, but weird things happen there. And I mean, come on, you can't tell me, like you said, Twitter's got a better view, Instagram's got a view. You can't tell me that they didn't have the right view. But it's Anfield, so you never know what's going to happen there. And of course, I have this theory that the FA does protect Liverpool. I know people are going to get upset about that, but I truly do believe it.
I mean, yeah, after that one, I can definitely believe it. But as far as big teams fielding weekend sides, let's see. Burnley beat Bournemouth 4-2. Blackpool roasted Forest, which isn't tough to do, but still 4-1.
Let's talk about the big one. Wednesday with the upset over Newcastle.
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday. Absolutely, there it is, dude. I have to bring this up.
The Owls, man.
Did you watch the highlights?
I did not get to see them. I saw like one highlight. I didn't see the rest, but I saw one, like the one. I think it was the second goal.
Yeah, man. The guy's name. I had to. His name is Windass. I'm like, I was like, man, middle school was tough for this guy. Ooh, hey, buddy, you're scoring 2 goals in the cup, knocking out Newcastle. That's big, but it just goes to show, it just kind of lends credit to my point, of fielding a weekend side. The teams that didn't, like Brighton, they won 5-1, and so Ian Darka's point in that article was that it kind of, takes away from the prestige of the tournament, takes away from, kind of the entertainment value of the tournament because it's like the reserve squad. Leeds tied Cardiff 2-2 on Sunday,
Well, you remember back when they said they wanted the domestic cup to hold a Champions League or Europa spot. They wanted the domestic cup to hold the last Europa spot. That way, if Cardiff City wins, guess who's going to the Europa and playing big league soccer? Like,
yeah, that'd be nuts, man.
That'd be nuts. Say they pull up like your boys from Israel.
Haifa. Maccabi
Haifa, yeah, against Juventus, just rocking the stands.
Hey, look out! Stokes beat Hartlepool 3-0. Like somebody's gonna
Ooh.
have to go down to Stoke on a Tuesday, a rainy, cold Tuesday night.
Yo, see, if I was one of these clubs, I want to buy one of these little clubs and just like focus. Like we are going to win the FA.
We're just
Like
the FA.
we're gonna knock them off the FA.
Yeah.
Like Ipswich Town. Like I'm gonna buy I want to buy Ipswich Town. There we go. Will be the.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, but yes, I think you're right though, Jake. To your point, it does lose the prestige if you're not. But I get it. I get it. This early in the FA Cup, it doesn't really matter until you start getting down. You see full squad, you see full strength when you start getting down into these later rounds. It's just everyone and their mother is in this tournament, so they really use it at the beginning to field their new transfers or their academy. They throw some guys in, let them get some first team. But then if you're into the last 16, you end up into a semi.
Unless you're playing City versus Chelsea.
Unless you're playing,
Yeah. And that was rather forgettable, huh, guys?
I just don't.
City didn't even try. I mean, Chelsea didn't even try.
It wasn't good. I feel like y'all gave it all in the first game.
Yeah.
And had nothing left for the back at City for the FA Cup.
I feel like when the fans hear the fact that the fans are singing the other coaches, if they want Tuchel back, the fans want Roman back. How this on a bench, again, I've talked about this since we've got Graham Potter. This is my issue with Graham Potter. This is the underlining foundation. How do you go from Thomas Tuchel to Graham Potter? With the players we have in the locker room right now, I would disrespect. I as a player, it would be hard for me to listen to what Graham Potter has to say if it contradicted or had to go against anything Tuchel had taught me or brought me into the club to try to do. I understand doing a job and playing a position different, but if you're telling me to play different and have different tactics or different mentality, a different trap the ball like this, turn like this, I want you to and Tuchel's told me to do it a different way. Not listen. I'm sorry. They're just not. They're uncomparable.
You got your phone call through, huh? You got your call through to
uncomparable.
You got your call through to Azpilicueta to
I told the boy. I texted Roman. I said, "Give me as I can't. Oh, almost messed up.
Yeah.
Gives me Azpilicueta's. I almost give me Azpilicueta's phone number. That way I can text the boys. You made me go through John Terry first, but we finally got it.
You always got to go through John Terry when it comes to Chelsea.
But we can skip over just how horrible that game was because
it was embarrassing. It was
embarrassing,
terrible. Is what it was. It was
terrible.
Embarrassing. And if he didn't feel embarrassed that they're that, he had some smart comments to make about the press. Be like, oh, y'all ask me dumb questions. He wants to say, and then, oh my goodness, he wants to say, oh, well, Pep had more time, Klopp had more time. This is another issue I have with, again, it's embarrassing about what's going on here. Why on earth was Graham Potter ever think he could compare himself to Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, or who did he named Arteta? He was like, oh, Arteta had time. They gave him a rebuild. You are nowhere in the same room as those gentlemen. I'm sorry. You were a coach at Brighton, Hove, Albion. These men are at clubs that are how Brighton is worth the academy at these clubs.
I mean, he had to know what he was getting into, though. But y'all have a game tomorrow, which we're definitely going to get into. But before we do, this does set up a third Arsenal City game in the FA Cup. And first of all, for the neutral, for the fans, awesome. Yep. Best two teams in the league in England. As far as value, this should be the best game, and so we get an extra one. So I'm pretty pumped about that. But then there's another thing. My family has been North Carolina Tar Heel fans since I was born, right? And the North Carolina Tar Heels always play the Duke Blue Devils twice in the regular season, and then normally, as when I was growing up, they both were the best teams. They would see each other in the ACC tournament, therefore playing 3 times every season. Yep. It is incredibly tough to beat the same team 3 times in one season. And so I'm praying to the gods of soccer. I'm willing to sacrifice the cup. Just let it go.
What?
That means we beat City in the league twice.
You're gonna let the FA
Let it
Cup
go,
team
and
is gonna let it go?
Let it go. I'll take the league.
They got enough
take
FA
the
Cup.
You can
I'll
have the
take the
cup.
league. Yeah.
Go for it, my man. You can have the cup. I want the league. We want both games in the league. I would give that all day. If you told me that's what it would, I'd be so fine.
Here's a question for you though, Jake. Do we see Rocky 1, 2, and 3? Or do we see not so full of a squad versus not so full of a squad, throw the starters in, peppermint, or do y'all go first 11, let's duke it out 3 times?
I think they're gonna duke it out 3 times. Especially
because it's Arteta versus Pep.
Especially with today's performance. Because low key, yes, when the cameras are off, Pep's not that worried that they're out of the No One Cares Cup, but he was pissed in that press conference. I'll tell you that much. As well he should be. They were great. But yeah, I think they'll go for it. I definitely think Arsenal's going for it, coming for it. Even all 3 of them. But it's the game at the Emirates. That's the one for Arsenal. That's the one. They have to absolutely 100% gotta win at the Emirates. No matter what happens in the cup, no matter what happens on my birthday in April, we gotta win on February 15th. 100%. There's no other. And yeah, I mean, a cup run would be great. And the winner of this game in the cup, like who's gonna beat him? You got to think that you're the favorite.
Wrexham
for the trophy.
I don't know. Stevenage beat Villa, so they went 2-1.
Let's go, Stevenage.
Yeah.
Hey,
didn't they score 2 goals in the last 10 minutes?
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know when they scored.
I think it was something like that.
I watched those highlights as well. Doing a little research on Villa's form. Yeah, that was an interesting one. But again, it just goes back to it was a weak team. Emery didn't play the actual starters, and they got beat.
Well, I think one of the issues is that you've got, as we said, the No One Cares Cup. There's so many domestic cups. You've got Carabao, you've got FA, that teams are like, okay, well, we're trying to use the youth in the Carabao, but we play all these littler teams, and so we're going to play them in the FA to get them some experience and whatnot. I think that if you went down just the FA Cup, I think it would bring back some of the prestige too. I think that having 2 cups within the same season, with playing with teams in the same country in both of them, I just think it cheapens it.
What was it before it was the what was it?
Carling Cup.
It was the Capital One. It was the Carling Cup, and then it was the Capital One Cup.
Capital One Cup is
but it was Carling.
I wonder who bought it, but for a long time.
Yeah.
But I remember I was trying to figure out who bought it. It was Capital One. Yeah, right. It's whoever owns. It's why Barclays is the Premier League. They're the main. Right.
It's called the League Cup, and speaking of the League Cup, both Manchester United and Newcastle took it really seriously. Both of those lineups were full lineups, and United versus Charlton at Old Trafford.
That was a blowout.
Not much to say. Rashford's still doing his thing.
Thriving without Ronaldo, man.
We called that one.
Huh?
We all called that one after the World Cup.
Yep. Yeah. Thriving.
Newcastle at home to Leicester. They could have played the U16s and won that game. And that brings us to today's matches. First of all, Forest and Wolves go to penalties. Did y'all see that? Forest are through on penalties. And like I say, man, out of nowhere, Wolves don't look as bad.
They got some life to them.
I might, I don't know, if I had to re-predict my relegation, they may have escaped.
Wow.
But then Southampton. Like they may have escaped too. I mean, yes, it was there was no KDB today. There was in the first half in the beginning. He didn't start. Rodri didn't start. Kyle Walker started at center back.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, what?
But Stefan Ortega in the goal was terrible.
And this is what makes
Yeah.
me upset, right? This is what makes me upset about this. Man City show up, kick us out of a cup. It's like Pep really wants to kick Potter's teeth in. It really is. Because he shows up, he fields the squad, he beats us 2-0, and then just takes a dive and then loses to a no-name for 2-0. It's like, oh yeah, we'll just knock. Chelsea's not winning. You know what? You stole. That's what it is. Oh, it's a vendetta. That's what it is.
It's most definitely a
We
vendetta.
stole the Champions League from him. So he's like, y'all, I don't care. I will sabotage every cup for you. If I lose it, I don't care. You're not winning ish this season. Screw you guys.
Yeah, I mean,
We
hey,
still got 2, so
We're not winning anything. We might be lucky to walk away with the forks and spoons from the break room. That's the only silverware we might get this season. If the fans don't come in and raid the
us to win
bridge.
any silverware. I don't expect us to
No.
win any
And
silverware.
we might have to play in the Audi Cup just to get
this
something in
isn't
the
a,
next
this
year.
isn't a win the Champions League finished 11th season.
No.
This is
Too many injuries, first off. I mean,
Even full squad with Potter, I
disagree.
But you have a month. You have a month until the first Champions League game.
We're going to get wrecked by Borussia. Wrecked. Calling it. I love the boys. I'm going to root for them. I'm going to, on a bet or, whatever, I'm going to put down Chelsea's going to win 1-0, 2-0. We are going to get wrecked by Borussia Dortmund. It's going to be embarrassing, and I hope he gets fired. Point blank. Well, because I don't know what it's going to take, and we're going to get embarrassed. It's going to happen at this rate. We play like we did against City, we're going to get embarrassed. Yeah. We are already embarrassed. That was embarrassing against City. They beat us with B team.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, it's interesting. They played the B team again today and lost to Southampton. The
B team already did their job. They're like, oh yeah, we won. Like, hey, screw those guys.
You want to chime in, Lewis? Did you get to see the second half? You said you got to saw the second half.
I did get to see the second half, and it was interesting because he put all the regulars back in the second half, but they had lost the plot already. I mean, I think it's a challenge in itself because, being honest, I think they saw the results of the other ones, and they saw again 2 top flight teams go forward. And you look at that fixture list, and you're like, do you really want to play those guys? Because those are the semifinals are 2 legs, right? If I'm not mistaken. And so that's an extra 2 games against top flight teams. And so he just threw some people out there, man. And I mean, should they have done better? Absolutely. And did he want to win? Yeah, that's why he threw those guys out there. But I mean, several blogs and stuff, they were like, oh, they're worried about the consistency of City with the rotation. The World Cup really, really is having its effect now, I think. And I think that's going to start playing a role because, you had guys who were out of form going to the Cup. They went to the Cup, and if they didn't win it, they clearly have the hangover of that. There was a commentary that Mahrez, who is really in form right now, but was super out of form before the Cup, was basically pouting because his team didn't make it. And so now that everyone's back, he feels more secure because he can focus. And so I could see a lot of issues. There's a lot of chatter going on around City. And Pep doesn't know his best 11. And so, I mean, I'm going to congratulate Southampton because they deserve the congratulations. They did what was necessary to win. And, I hope them the best. I hope they give whoever they play hell. And, it kind of is what it is. I mean, I think Pep City really is focused on winning the Champions League and fighting for the league. And I'm going to go the other way, Jake. You said you prefer to get the league. I think City is going to focus all the way on the league and kind of halfway do it on the FA Cup against Arsenal.
Boy, one more point about this game I think that needs to be said. You kind of mentioned it there. When does Mahrez start? He's shouting.
He's shouting for
it. Grealish Grealish, I think, is who he should replace. Grealish hasn't shown much since the World Cup for me. When does Mahrez get in front of him?
He doesn't for me. He paid $100 million for Grealish.
So Mahrez is lighting it up, dude. Dude. Again, you saw him. I know you watched that game. I know you watched Mahrez rip y'all apart, dude. That free kick was sick.
Sick.
I just feel like he brings more. He brings more than Grealish does, for sure. But speaking of,
I might be a little biased right now. I'm not a Riyad Mahrez fan right now, so yeah.
I didn't say I was. Yeah,
I would rather Grealish be on the field after that. Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna chime in here real quick. The interesting thing is, I think he was trying to also figure out who to play in the derby, because I'm being honest. I think it benefits the team a lot more to lose the game the way they did.
Oh yeah.
Before they go play the derby, because now they have. I mean, it's already United, and United's on the uptick. But now he's really like, hey, now I can play who I want, because everybody had to figure out their places. You had games that mattered, and now I get to pick the 11 I want. Because Haaland's gonna start. De Bruyne is gonna start, and Rodri. The spine is there. And so now it's those guys on the outside. Does Foden get a sniff, even though he didn't play well today? Does Mahrez get in there, or does Bernardo play? So I think it allowed him where he can be a little more cut through and say, hey, this is the 11 we're going to run with. And you guys in the cup, do what you need to do so you can play. I think that's the mentality that's going to come from that.
I think that's Patrick, you were talking about the same thing earlier. I think that's right on the nose. And the top managers have been, Wenger did it all the time. He would always fill the weak inside. And like you were saying, Lewis, you got to go earn your time. Here's your chance. Do you deserve to be in the starting 11 on Sunday in the Premier League? Prove it.
Yeah.
Here's your moment.
Right.
And some of them didn't really do that today. Cole Palmer didn't do much at all. I thought that one dude that I'd never heard of, who got hooked at halftime for Akanji, was a left back. Didn't really do much. They just didn't have anybody to control the ball. No KDB, no Rodri. So I thought that Calvin Phillips. Yeah, Calvin Phillips. It's unfortunate. Like, as soon as he got there from Leeds, he was injured. But I didn't think he did much. But I think it's just a blip. I think they'll, we'll get to the City United game. I think they're gonna smash. So
Same.
I think they'll be just fine. But speaking of games, we'll move on to one that's a bit closer, bit more intriguing for me. Chelsea away to Craven Cottage, but there's no Mitrovic.
Ooh.
Yeah. What do we think?
I mean, like I said, I'm going to bet for my boys. It's going to be, I want them to go 2-0. But I'm not going to lie, guys, and this is really hard. I almost want the season's screwed. The season's over. As long as we don't get relegated, season's over.
It'll take another 6 straight losses or something, wouldn't you think, to actually see him get fired?
I do, but I do see 6 straight losses. These boys aren't playing for him. These boys will not play for him.
Come on, man. You can beat Palace. I hate Palace so much. I hate Palace. Y'all can beat.
Me too.
Come on.
Me too.
Come on.
Because what's gonna happen is your boy. Actually, no, I think your boy's hurt, isn't he?
Zaha?
Yeah, isn't he on the bench or hurt? I think I read something. Anyway, I do, because these boys won't play for him. He does not how to field any sort of camaraderie there. This team is so disjointed. You can call it injuries. You can call it what you want. Again, you want to point to an injury list, I will point you straight back to Frank Lampard. He used the academy. Play boys who know how to play together. He had an injury list. He had an injury list almost just this long.
So
play the academy.
That's the solution. Bring the youth.
And play him right. You don't play Hall at left back. Again. This guy has no idea what he is doing at a club this size. It shows every week. weak.
I mean,
Simple mistakes.
I've heard some things that said he has no control, like over anything. You know, it's not his team. He didn't bring in anyone. Maybe you could call Cucurella his player. Maybe, you know, he's got 10 injuries. You know, longest list in the league.
In the Prem, right?
You know,
They're all starters.
You've been saying it. He just does whatever Bowley tells him to do. You know, he's a yes man, as you've put it. You know, and so honestly, the picture that's forming, you know, I was saying it before we hit record. I feel like it's not the Roman era is done. You know, this, you know, they signed him to a 5-year deal. Bowley, I think he's Bowley's man, and even if Bowley was out here he's just grabbing people, whatever, just splashing cash with zero plans to speak of for the team, you know. But I mean, how much of this isn't even on Potter?
All of it's on Potter.
Is it though? Like,
yes.
I mean,
yes, because what you do is you stand up for the club.
With the same players, with the same people, was going downhill.
How? How can anyone say that? Look at the numbers. Tuchel still had a 55% had a 55 percentile of gaining
because of
points.
what he done last season. Because of last season,
he only dropped 6 points. That's it. He lost 1 game in the Champions League. Potter's done 3 times as bad. Mathematically, 3 times as bad. You can't blame it on the numbers.
But my point
Tuchel
about
stood up for the club.
But my point about Roman from earlier is the main factor here. Bowley is nowhere near the same person that Roman Abramovich was.
No, absolutely not. And what's really messed up to me, and then Patrick, you can stand up for him all you want. He lost my respect after the game today. Potter doesn't even wear our badge. Tuchel would have been caught dead without our badge. Potter doesn't even wear it in the press conference. Tell me that's not a problem. We have players walking around the badge, won't even step on it because they love the club. He won't even get in front of the cameras with it on. That's an issue. You don't need to be the coach of our club. You don't need to be the coach and at the helm of a club like Chelsea if you can't even wear the badge to a press conference. Wear your all-black jumpsuit if you want. Go back to Brighton. I'm done. I'm done with him. I swear he's the worst coach we've had in the last 10 years.
But the question remains, you've got a season to play.
This season's done. I'm telling you, they're going to fight. They're just going to stay mid-table. They're done. They're chalking it up to a rebuild. They'll sell it to the fans. Most of them will buy it. It's an issue. Again, you think at the Etihad with the fans singing they want Tuchel, wait till they come back to the bridge. Wait till the 5th stand starts chiming in like that. Potter's not going to have control of the club for the next 5 years because the fans won't let him have it. You get the 5th stand singing that, those players are going to get so disheartened in every game because they know that nobody is behind anything that's going on, whether they buy in or not. You can't lose the locker room and you can't lose the fans. Frank might have lost that locker room because he pushed too hard, but he had the love of the fans. Tuchel always had the support of the fans, and he owned that locker room. And you're exactly right. That is Tuchel's team, Jake. None of those boys are going to respect Potter.
Frank had the fans not for being a coach. Frank had the fans not because he was a coach.
No. Frank could have lost every game that season. Yeah. I'm telling you, we'd still love it.
I would have loved it. It wouldn't have mattered.
Wouldn't have mattered, right?
Wouldn't have mattered at all.
It's just a growing issue because there's a culture at the club. If you buy a club like Chelsea, you need to abide and live by that culture.
So I don't think the culture's there anymore. I think that it all left, not only with Roman, but with all the changes. I think that you're going to see, especially with how they're approaching the summer specifically, I think you're going to see a youth movement. I think that there is a focus on getting younger, and I think there's a focus on having a style that lasts. You know, I think that Bowley and Clear Lake? I think it's Clear Lake. And the new director of football and all that. I think that they want something with longevity, and it's going to take. I mean, it's going to take losing some people that are kind of important, but I think it's also going to be one of these things where, unfortunately, there's going to have to be some patience, you know. And I will say this: I watched Chelsea in the preseason, and it was troubling already. And I knew that there was going to be some changes in terms of, okay, this, we're trying to get this guy and we couldn't get this guy because of, the way the transfer window went.
Barcelona.
We had sanctions. We had sanctions half the window.
Right. I understand that.
We won the Champions League with this squad, bar one player in the defense, and granted, we were healthy. Antonio Rudiger is the only loss that we really took in this squad.
I don't know, man. Marcus Alonso.
We haven't had Conte.
He didn't play. Crucial hated Marcus.
Potter may not have.
We haven't had. We didn't.
Would it matter?
I mean, the reason why we won that Champions League was Conte. We haven't had Conte pretty much for the last year.
He's done. When is he going to retire yet? Like, he's done, man.
He'll retire with us. We re-signed him because we owe it to him, and he'll just like Azpilicueta. They'll ride out. They'll die in the old guard. They'll be done after us. They might come to here. Who knows? But they'll be done super high professional level after they leave the club.
So how do we? What's the solution? There has to be a right now fix. Do we change the formation? Do you is it all guys like Lewis Hall and what's that dude's name? Dewsbury?
Chukwuela.
Yeah, like is it all just straight bring the academy? I mean, do you have?
That's what Frank did. That's what I would do. If you don't want to play for me, guess what? I got U18s who are chomping at the bit. I'll make the next Tammy Abraham and then sell you for 30 mil. I'll make the club some money.
Patrick's right. That's like a 4 or 5
I have a question. So, I agree that, the team or the guys there really don't really dig him. But it's not a knock on them, but it is a question. But what's the degree to professionalism? I mean, you know what happens there, and I mean, you can't dump everybody out of the team. So at some point, I feel like there has to be some degree of professionalism where you're like, all right, we're disjointed and we need to get it together. I mean, and I'm not saying like having an uprising, but I mean, the boys know how to play football. The players understand tactics. You guys know you play the game, you get it. And so at some point you gotta get out there and say, hey, we want to win. And then, you hope they bring the right personnel because, okay, say they keep Potter, then you got to figure that out. If they get rid of him, because what is it? Simeone gonna come, right? I don't know, right?
I would love for him to come.
He's a hardcore guy, and you see, like the last time there was hardcore guys, they really didn't gel real well with them. I don't think they liked
won.
There.
It was Chelsea is results based.
I agree, but at the same time, look at how many guys are there, and then after 3 seasons they're gone. And I mean, I agree that the bodies won the Champions League, but these guys are 2 years older now, man. Sometimes that peak is gone, and you gotta accept it. For example, I mean, I can use a De Bruyne one. Like people, there was word that De Bruyne is past it, right? I mean, last year, at the beginning of this year, and so right. People don't know because now you're spots here and there, and so I think maybe they need a core to grow together, and that's what they're trying to figure out. And maybe the core that they have of young guys that are just entering like the beginning of their prime, maybe they fix it and you got to give Potter a chance to work with that. Or you get rid of Potter altogether, but it's still the players. I still think you need players. There was a reliance on individuals in the style, and you either have to pick the manager with the style or the players. Because at that point, and it goes to you guys' point about American ownership, well, this is not a dog and pony show, man. You got to be winning. The winning will take care of the dogs and the ponies, but you got to figure that part out.
100%.
Well, I was gonna say if X, you said that the players play for the badge. If that's the case, why aren't they winning?
Because Azpilicueta does not. This captaincy, this core group that Lewis is talking about, they do not respect Graham Potter. Our fans do not respect Graham Potter. You put someone as a clown in the locker room. We had a mastermind. We literally wrote banners at the bridge.
Respect the badge.
Banners at the bridge. They are respecting the badge. I wouldn't play for Graham Potter at Chelsea either. He is disrespectful to the badge even coming in.
What about being professionals?
Yeah. I mean, at some point,
self-pride.
I mean, my thing is this, right? I love Chelsea. I've been a Chelsea fan for almost 20 years now. I see the managers come and go. I see them come and go so much under Roman because it was a player-led club, and Roman allowed the players to have that control, and it was understandable. I mean, you had Drogba, you had Frank, you had John Terry. I understand that. There's no one in this club right now that deserves that kind of respect from the owner.
As Filiqueta, are you kidding me?
I'm saying as a player. I mean, he's past it.
He deserved. He is the embodiment of what John Terry and Frank Lampard left this club.
But you just said it. You just said it. Chelsea Football Club is about what are you doing for me right now. You just said that. Chelsea is about results.
And they got rid of the only person who got us. How many trophies, how many finals did Thomas Tuchel get to in the 15 months he was at Chelsea? How many? How many finals did he lead this club to? He was results-driven, results-based. Graham Potter will not. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I will bet the farm on it.
This fact, you have to cut ties with all of your history.
Mm-hmm.
From 2003 to 2022, you have to cut ties with everything that happened. Because Todd Boehly is going to do it Todd Boehly. He's not going to do it Roman Abramovich. Do you think for even a second that Todd Boehly even begun to look at what Chelsea did in the last 19 years? Do you think he's even studied what Roman?
Because he doesn't care about the culture.
That's
why he should have sold it to the Brits. The British consortium that wanted the club because they were fans.
It's all
Todd
new.
Boehly claims
So is Todd Boehly.
Todd Boehly claims to be a fan. He can't even know our academy. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He's not a fan. He's a fanboy. He's a fan because we were winning. He was a fan because we were successful. He wasn't a fan because he loved our culture. He wasn't a fan because he loved our club or our players. He doesn't respect Frank Lampard and Thomas Terry and what Roman really did for our club the way we do. He doesn't. He's not a fan. He sold it to the wrong person because he had to. And I'm telling you, you might as well rename the club the London Cowboys because you're right. Chelsea is gone. Chelsea was Roman.
So how do you beat a Mitrovicless Fulham tomorrow?
We don't have anybody to score either, so is it going to really matter?
I said 2-1.
I was going to go 2-1 Chelsea.
I said 2-1 Fulham, by the way.
I think I'm sure you did. There's so much turmoil. I think that at some point you just go and play, and you got Zhao. I'm sure he's going to come off as a sub. He's going to want to make an impact.
There's he may not have signed in time or whatever to be.
He was announced this afternoon. I mean, this morning.
He's on the team. I don't know if he's cleared to play the game.
Well, how is he going to impact? I mean, how is he any different than Aubameyang? Any different than Sterling? Any different than Pulisic?
I mean, I think he's better than Aubameyang for sure.
Our owners and our club and our manager don't know what they're doing because he's not. He doesn't fix anything. He doesn't fix anything at the club.
I'm better than Aubameyang. I'm just saying, will Felix offer anything different?
He's Sterling. He's Sterling for Atletico. That's all he is. He's not a creative midfielder. He's not. He's not going to be able to play Cam.
That way. What if you try to, because y'all got to do something. You got to. I mean, it's time to experiment. 6 losses in 8 games. It's time to switch stuff up and try something new. And that's just coming from,
You got to, right?
Definition of insanity. Doing things over and over again. So just switch something up. Try somebody in the Mount role because Mount's down. He's out. For who knows how long. Big up to the Chelsea medical staff. But so what if Felix plays in the Cam role? Do you think he could be that creator?
I could see it.
To who? Kai?
And yeah, that has to be. That's where it's at. Havertz is your only down the middle guy. He really is. Havertz is really your only down the middle striker.
We're so screwed.
Aubameyang couldn't play, the water boy position.
Aubameyang wants to go back to. He called Xavi and was like, "Yo, I want to come back to Barca."
I hope he does.
It's
hopping
dumpster
fires.
It's a huge issue right now.
I have and I all three of y'all went for a Chelsea win. I think
they have to. It's at some point they have to win.
It's a must. I mean, it's an absolute must.
It may be a must win, but
we're gonna lose.
Everybody,
I have no faith in this.
I'm saying it. I've said it all season. You can go back and look at the pods. Fulham, Brentford, and Brighton this season should not be underestimated by anyone at any point ever. And teams have done that to their peril this season. So Fulham at Craven Cottage, even without Mitrovic, I'm still going for them. I'm still picking them to be way too much because they're miserly at home and y'all can't score to save your life. So, I'm giving y'all one lucky Koulibaly goal on a off of his calf muscle when he spun around in the box, 3
It's hurt.
times. And somehow
he'll
he
get
hits
hurt.
his toenail, but he scores your one goal and Fulham win 2-1. That's what I'm saying.
I almost want to buy a ticket to the bridge.
We'll roll
Just
on.
so
We do have some other games to look at, and there's another Chelsea game to predict.
Well, I was gonna say this before we move on real quick. It's getting to the point though that there's so many injuries, and I'm not saying this is an excuse by any means. There's so many injuries that you can't tinker with the team too much. So you just got to throw out what you got, and maybe at some point they gel. But I have a problem, and again, I don't understand. I understand professionalism. I understand playing for a team, but the thing about Chelsea and soccer in general, it's just soccer in general. You don't have that loyalty very often. They're mercenaries. In the end, they're mercenaries. So is it they're there because of the history of Chelsea and they can win, they can make money, or is it because they're giving me a shot?
Every player's always been after accolades. You're gonna go who's winning.
Right.
You're gonna follow who's winning. You're gonna want to be who is winning. We have won so much in so little of a time. Look at the compounded rate from what our core boys really did for us. Look at the compounded rate from when they took on the trophy in 2012. We won the league, we won the Champions League, we won the Super, we won everything. Right.
The Abramovich era, y'all were, top.
They come to Chelsea because there is a culture here of doing that, of taking this trophy home. We will win and we will get the results. That's why we have the players we have. That's why I think, and as a player, this is what I would do as well, not putting it past any one of them. Are you hurt or are you hurt or are you injured? Because it's real easy to be hurt and not want to play for your manager. Oh yeah, I'm hurt. My knee's kind of tweaked. No, I'm hurt.
Who knows with our training?
And you can't call Reece James. You can't call Reece James unloyal. Reece James is brought up in the club. You can't call Mason Mount unloyal. They are brought up in the club. Azpilicueta's been here. He will die here. He loves our club. He's our captain.
Yeah, but they got to start playing for the badge. You
can't play for the badge when it's represented by a clown. You can't do it.
But you have to represent the club yourself as well.
Again, they can't do it. With the tactics at hand, how are you gonna? You know what it's like playing for a clown. You know what it's like playing for a clown. We played for a clown.
For an absolute stuff.
We played for a clown. We played for Graham Potter, bro. That's what I bet you. That's what it's like in there.
No.
But anyway, I think we take. We take Palace 1-0.
We will get back to you guys because there's another game. Y'all get to play twice in 3 days. Lucky you.
Woohoo, let's go.
Good stuff. But two teams that gave y'all trouble are playing Villa and Leeds at Villa Park. And this one is going to be a good game. I feel so bad for Jesse Marsh. I just feel so bad for him. I'm a fan of the Leeds United States of America. But, man, they're just woeful sometimes. Like, they're exciting to watch, but it's one of those teams where it's like, yeah, Leeds are going to be, and then they just don't quite get there, But let's see. Lewis has predicted 2-1 to Leeds. And Xavier and I have both predicted a draw.
Yep.
What are we thinking, Patrick?
At
Villa.
It's at Villa. Give me 1-1.
Yeah.
Give me one more. I heard something about Tyler Adams being injured.
What?
Yeah, I
That's not
thought
good.
I read that.
That is
I've
not
read so much recently. I don't even remember when I read it. But I think Tyler Adams went off with an injury. Let's see. Come on, give me the news. But I think he went off with an injury, and it was more so a scare, I think, than anything, because they were talking about potential like Achilles issues, but I think it was more of a scare. But there might be something that they kind of try to protect too, because he's worth something to that club now. But I'll have to find it. I could have sworn I saw it, but I'll have to
He didn't
find
play
it.
versus Cardiff.
Yeah, I know that. I'm looking for it now.
He
I'll find it.
says this article on leeds-live.co.uk says Marsh hopes to welcome all of the starters who didn't play versus Cardiff. He hopes to welcome all of them back into contention next week. Even Sinistera will be in full training soon as well. Tyler, we have planned ahead of time using a little bit of Achilles issue after the World Cup. He's feeling much better and he'll be back in training as well.
Okay, so there you go. Yeah, I think it was more precautionary. But that's always something you kind of have to worry about too. That's
He's
something
like
you don't
their whole
want to play
team.
with. Huh?
He's like their whole
Yeah.
midfield. You have it's one of those things, one of those guys,
Who's the engine?
if Mitrovic goes down, Fulham is way less of a team. If Tony goes down, you'd think Brentford's not, but then they go and they win anyway. It's one of those guys, we thought it was going to happen to Arsenal. Jesus goes down and, we may not be as good. I think that Tyler Adams is that guy for Leeds.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's the engine. He's the engine.
He's the engine, right?
Much different team
Yep.
without him. There are some spicy games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Brentford Bournemouth even is going to be a decent game, I think.
There he is.
Is my boy Tony gonna play?
No.
Ivan Tony's playing. Yeah, he's playing, man.
No way.
Yeah, he's
How come he has not got invited yet?
He's got till like February 3rd to answer the charges, and only
He's gonna drop go drop a hat trick now.
And they're gonna play him.
Start to get in more bets before it's done.
Yeah, they're gonna play him all the way up to the second.
Oh my goodness. For me though, Bournemouth are awful. Bournemouth are
awful.
So I have Brentford winning this game for sure.
I got the bees. On that one.
The bees, man.
Gotta go with the bees on that one, man. Yeah.
Like I don't think that.
I got the bees up 1-0. Yeah.
Like Bournemouth have given more goals on corner kicks than like a Sunday league team. It's bad news. It's bad news bears, and Brentford are huge. Score headers. Tony's crazy in the air. I think Brentford have way too much in this game. Let's see. Brighton and Liverpool. Holy crap, that's another one.
Ooh, that is spicy.
I deliberated over this one when I was thinking. I was like, man. But I told you guys last time, I was done with Liverpool. I'm done. I'm done with the whole. But it's Liverpool. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Van Dijk's out. They're going to be playing Joe Gomez and Joel Matip. I got Brighton 3-2.
Yeah.
I got a
lot
Brighton.
Of goals.
Yeah, man. Brighton have scored. I think I counted it. Brighton have scored 14 goals in 4 games.
What did I pick? I don't know what I picked in that game. I can't remember.
2-2?
You said 2-2.
I think Darwin Nunez gets another one. I know you don't believe
he broke the ice.
Another one.
He pointed to his head like he was telling everybody that like it's not getting me. Yeah.
I'm gonna go 3-2.
Remember Brighton. That this game was 3-2 Brighton?
Yeah.
Remember that this game
3-2
at Anfield was De Zerbi's first game. Was the first game after Potter was Brighton at Anfield, and it was 3-3. It was a crazy game. It's an awesome game, if I recall. So yeah, there's going to be goals. There's going to
Gakpo is 1-1, still a draw.
I mean, I don't know, man. Liverpool are going to have to switch it up to.
I got 2-1. I got 2-1 to Liverpool on that.
2-1
on my phone.
I feel like how are Gakpo and Nunez going to play together? I saw something that said Gakpo was a winger.
Yeah.
Gakpo is a winger.
Is he? I mean, he played down the middle for Netherlands.
I think it's because he had to. Who else is going to score goals?
I mean, Memphis Depay was on that Netherlands squad.
Bergwijn.
Oh my
He's going to
god!
score goals. Not field goals. Not field goals. Goals.
Good god! I have a 5-0 Palace victory at the Bridge.
No.
I'm just kidding.
No, man. Send it. Put that energy out there. And my boy needs to get canned. No, put it out there.
No, I actually, this is where I picked the skid to come to a halt at the Bridge because I will never. I'm done picking Palace too. I'm done with Palace. Palace is gonna come jump into the dumpster fire.
He's done.
Chelsea.
They burned you a couple of times, man.
Oh, they burned Jake a couple times. Yeah.
I love you, Patrick Vieira. Big shout out to my man Patrick Vieira.
He's done.
But I hate Palace so much.
Willie Zaha's too lackadaisical for my boy this season. He's done.
Their away form is awful. Their
don't worry.
Great either.
I think it's going to be 0-0. I don't think either of us are scoring goals because I think the fans are going to be sitting there yelling at the players and Potter the whole time, so no one's going to want to play.
Let's pretend we scored a goal.
So I don't think anybody's going to play. But I can't. I mean, again, I'll never bet against my boys, but I will go neutral in this. I don't think anybody scores here. We don't have anybody to score. We don't have any motivation in the club. Potter's not the guy to get it done. He's not lighting the fire. If he's not
an anger pick for me.
He's not. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I get that, but he's not lighting the fire. So no, I don't see anything different. I don't see anything different than how he came out against City.
I think I picked Chelsea. I think Chelsea's gonna win this game.
You picked 1-1.
I just got a feeling that.
I mean, if you see the Chelsea that came out in the first game against City, that Chelsea's gonna win. If you see the Chelsea that came out in the second game against City, then yeah, it'll be 0-0. I don't think we see that Chelsea though. I think we see the first version. And I mean, it's not good enough to go and win a bunch of games, but it's good enough to beat Palace and you know,
we can only hope.
You would hope. You know, but I mean, I'm going to go 2-0 Chelsea. I think that, you know, there's I don't want to say it's like a dam because I don't think it's that, but at some point it's going to turn just enough to where it's like, okay, maybe we're on the right track. I really do think that. Because you see it all the time.
Here's my biggest question to you, Patrick. Here's my biggest question. Management aside, coaching aside, Potter aside, Boyle aside. Do you believe in the players we just bought? Do you believe in the boys we just put pen to paper to? Do you believe in Nkunku that much? You believe in him 200? We just spent $400 million.
Unknown.
Not in Cuckoo. Not in Cuckoo
almost
at all.
All of our coffer. We almost spent all of our money now. You believe in the players we brought in?
Not in Cuckoo. But that wasn't I mean, that was who Tuchel wanted, right?
No. Potter signed off on that.
15 million.
Potter and Boyle went after Nkunku.
That wasn't that.
Cuckoo was already on the team before Potter was brought on.
No. Kurela was Kurela.
Yeah, he was.
Nkunku was finalized immediately when the when the winter window opened.
Nkunku.
Wait. Hold on. Are we talking about in Cuckoo? We're not talking about Cucurella.
Right.
We're talking about the French forward.
That's what.
Did you want to change your prediction, Lewis?
No. I'm good.
You said 1-1.
I lied.
Cucurella was brought in as a
fine with
backup
that.
for Chilwell or Reece James.
Right.
That's
Okay.
why he was bought.
I mean,
Granted, we didn't see both of them going down. I will give everybody in the
Yeah.
world a pass
Yeah.
on both of those players leaving injured because they're huge. I understand what that does for our back line. But then again, don't sell Marcus Alonso if you need a backup. That's just hey. Anyway,
Speaking of,
I don't believe in the players they bought. That's the issue. I don't believe where our money went. I don't believe in it. I think we're going to end up like Tottenham, and that's saying a lot. And I'm saying a lot because I see us being almost good enough now. I see us being 5th place, 6th place. Potter's not going to get us there. Boyley's not tuned into the Premier League as it should be as an owner, or as he's not an owner. He doesn't have the power Roman has. Roman could act without question. Boyley has to go through a lot of people to get something done.
On Potter all day long. It's real low hanging fruit these days.
Right? No. But I don't believe in the players that were brought in. I do think we tie Palace for sure.
We can move on to a huge, massive game down at the bottom. Everton and Southampton is such a
Gunning.
Wee.
I might be switching my prediction after that result today.
Saints. Go Saints.
Lewis has predicted 3-2 to the Saints.
3-2.
Yeah, man.
Where's this at? Is it
Originally
at
said 2-1.
Southampton or it's what?
It's at Southampton. It's at Everton. It's at
Is that Everton?
Oh,
Goodison Park.
I think I might be switching mine up actually after that game today.
They're gonna be buzzing, man.
I'm gonna call it a 2-2.
I was thinking 2-2.
Whoa.
Everton get up for it at home in games like this, man. Frank's gonna let him know how important this one is.
Yeah, I got
This is a
1-0
big
Everton on this. Frankie's gonna Frankie's gonna pull some classic.
Hey, I actually didn't hear your prediction for Brentford Bournemouth, X.
Brentford Bournemouth. Oh, I have the Bees 1-0.
Oh no. And you, Patrick?
Brentford Bournemouth 3-1. Bees.
Damn.
2-1. And that brings us to one of the two most exciting games of the weekend. City go to Old Trafford.
Yes,
What do we think, Lewis?
I can't wait. I love when they play. It doesn't even matter the result. I love when they play there. I can think of the last 3 or 4 derbies where I've been in a different location every time to watch it, and it's always been fun. Like I'm gonna be in Dayton this weekend, and I'm gonna go find me a bar.
It's 7:30 in the morning.
And yeah, man, I don't care where it is.
7:30.
You think there's gonna be a bar open at 7:30?
Oh yeah.
Of course there is.
Just find a supporters bar. You'll find it, of course.
Exactly.
I guess Dayton's pretty big.
And so
Dayton's a college town. I mean, it's a big town too, but it's a college town, so of course there's going to be a bar open.
Of course, they might not have closed. So I love it. I think City leaks a little bit at the back, so United does score. I'm respecting Rashford is in form. I'm respecting that they'll get up for this game because they believe in their Pep 2.0. But I think Pep 1.0 will have the gentleman understanding you need to win this because if you win this, you are now 2 points back. And that's all they care about. That's all they care about, man. That's it. They want to win the league.
How does he approach it though? I saw a couple articles that say he might experiment. But then I did see an article, the post-match article after today's game saying that they're going to do what City do the second half of the Chelsea game, of the first Chelsea game.
Yep.
Where he goes back to what they know this season. It's going to be all the starters, all the main men.
Yep.
Yep.
Holland playing the 9. You're going to have
center.
De Bruyne, Rodri, and Gundogan in the middle. And on the wings, you're going to have Mahrez on one side. And I probably, if not Silva, I'm trying to think who would play the other side.
I don't get that.
Alvarez over there. I don't know. Because
I don't
today
get
was the
playing
first time.
Silva like that.
Well, he
That's
plays
not a
Silva.
star.
He likes to play Silva on the wing because he controls the ball really well. And I mean, he's not a winger.
But
at
so is
all.
Grealish.
He's not a winger. My only question will be who he plays in the back. Obviously, every City supporter is worried: are they going to play Rico Lewis? Because obviously he'd be up against Marcus Rashford, or do you stick Kyle Walker back out there and actually play him at right back? And I think he's going to go with Rico because he's in form, and if it doesn't work, Walker will come in. He's going to play Laporte in the middle. Obviously, Eddie will be out there. I don't know who he's gonna play on. No, I do know who he's gonna play on left. He's gonna play Ake over there, and he'll have He probably will have a Kanji in the middle, and he's gonna play the regulars, and he's gonna say, hey, the Bourne City ball is there. We're gonna focus on Holland, and we're gonna say stop him. Period.
That's what the way they set up today leads me to believe that if they play Lewis, it'll be fine because they won't charge him with Marcus Rashford. They'll put Kyle Walker on the same side because when y'all have the ball, it's a back three. It's not a back four. And so whoever that farthest to the right, probably Kyle Walker, in that back three is going to be responsible for Rashford in transition.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Probably the way I would think of it, and I just think that there's going to be way too much for them in the mid. I mean, I know Casemiro's the greatest center defensive midfielder that's ever played the game.
Every time they play that, bring that crap up, man. You know what?
It's ridiculous.
I
tried to avoid this point. Yes, he's a very accomplished person because he played at Real Madrid. He's not at Real Madrid, man. He's at Manchester United. Can we please stop when
he's over the hill? He's not that good.
He plays a mid-table team or a
He's not that good.
bottom-of-the-table team, and he plays normal. And he's the greatest midfielder in the world. I mean, you're just disrespecting Arsenal. You're disrespecting City. You're disrespecting. Even though West Ham is trash, Declan Rice is better. Come on, stop it. Just cut it out, man. Just because it's a name. Stop it, man.
Yep. No, you want to know who we should have spent 60 million on? Again,
I think De Bruyne is going to be mad. Pep's going to be mad at them. I think and I think Gundogan and Bernardo might even be switched out. Especially if he plays like a Grealish or Foden or Alvarez on the left with Mahrez and Haaland up top as well. I wouldn't. I could see Bernardo being in there. But I just think y'all are going to run them over in the middle of the field.
I don't think we're going to run them over. I think it's going to be
in the middle of the field.
Yeah. Oh, yes. There. Yes. Score.
I think y'all command this game. I think it's 2-0 City.
Yeah, 2-0 City. 2-1 City. I'll go 2-1.
I have 2-0 City. I think y'all command this game.
City.
It's a lot of games. They're not in great form. I think United scores because we always leak a stupid goal.
I see that.
Well, I said 2-1 City as well. Just because Man U have won 8 straight games in all competitions, and they are on fire at home. So I gave them a goal at home, but a Marcus Rashford goal at home. But
City's just too much.
It's too much. We
thought they were too much today, and then they didn't win. So I'm
I think you're gonna pour it on.
Yeah, but you can't.
Completely different team. Completely different team.
And I think this makes them upset. I think this makes them mad. I think you hit the nail on the head while you were in the car. Yeah. You hit the nail. I think this makes them upset enough to where they're gonna come out and just rip United.
Yeah,
I would love for that to happen, and I will be on top of the world for that. But I just, I'm a weird supporter for the following reasons. Like, I don't hate Liverpool. I respect them if they're good. I don't hate United. I respect them if they're good. I don't hate Arsenal and Chelsea. I want the best teams to play, and if they're good, I'm gonna respect them for their good.
So you hate Spurs? That's good.
What are your thoughts on Tottenham?
I'm gonna do it like this, which is gonna sound a little more disrespectful. I've never even counted them as anything. Like, I just never even paid them any attention. Like,
that's a worse insult. That's a worse insult than saying you hate him. Oh my god. That's an Everton insult. Oh no, they were never here. Don't worry about it.
Well, the funny thing is the Spurs has beat City several times, and it still doesn't mean anything. I mean, Sonny played good against City, but outside of that, it's there. I mean, what am I accounting for them for? They don't account for anything.
Yeah.
So no, I don't hate them, but I respect where United is going. And until they give me another reason to say they're not going to be on par or get up for this game, I'm gonna give them a goal. I still say City is better.
It's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be a great game. I think United are gonna be they're gonna be up for this. You
They
know,
will.
I
Oh,
mean
yeah.
they're tied for fourth place right now. I mean
They need
they're
it. Right.
semifinals
Statement game.
through
need it.
they're through in the FA Cup. Yes, they have to play Barcelona Europa League, but they're in a good way right now. It's good times at Old Trafford right now, and we can only, I mean, honestly, you could probably guess who I'm cheering for, but I don't think it's going to happen. I definitely think Pep's men have what it takes.
It'll be a cold day in hell before I ever say United's gonna win a game. So
I was gonna
Ouch.
say. I mean, it really is an opportunity for a statement for United, especially under Ten Hag. Like,
It is.
you're on this run right now, and everybody's like, okay, maybe United's back, but then if City just go and dominate this one,
I hope so.
it's
6-3.
same
so.
old United, same old United.
Embarrassed them embarrassed that we just got embarrassed. I would love to see United take the same.
Mahrez and Alvarez get hat tricks this time.
Oh, I would love to see the same.
And I'm being honest, we saw it today where Foden, Alvarez, and Haaland played together. They didn't do anything, but I think if they start a game, I think they'll terrorize. But it's all good. Is that the Saturday? Is that a Saturday morning game?
That's the first game. That's the lunchtime.
Okay.
Lunchtime kickoff on Saturday. Yeah.
Okay.
7:30. Yeah, I'll have to get up early.
But it's our morning. Yeah, it's our morning mimosa game for us. Yeah. Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, there it is.
Cheers to you for that lovely report on the Tottenham Hotspur. I think we'll turn that into a lovely segue because North London Derby is also this weekend on Sunday. And I don't know if y'all are familiar with the recent run of results in this fixture, but usually the home team wins this one. Like the last 7 or 8 times, the home team has won the North London Derby. And last season, the game at Spurs was ridiculously important, and we completely just laid an absolute egg. And going into that game, I was like, man, we haven't won at Spurs in 3 seasons. This is gonna suck. Like I felt it too.
Yeah.
And point being that this is the first time I'm very confident. Going to Tottenham doesn't matter. They're going to show us the same thing. We know what they're going to show us. They did the same thing they played the same way versus Portsmouth, and we're not great. They only beat Portsmouth 1-0. Again, Harry Kane is Harry Kane, and like if they play like that, we'll win 3-0 if they play like that.
Well, I have you guys at 2-0 for sure.
You said 2-0. I said it was going to be 3-2 Arsenal because Kane always gets up to play us. Like I'll be shocked if Kane doesn't score. I'll be happy, obviously. I did. But
you know who lost their faith in Harry Kane? Me.
Everyone else?
So no, me. So
everyone but Spurs fans.
Barn burner. 3-3. Barn burner.
Barn burner.
Give me Arsenal 3-1.
Can Spurs even score 3 goals in a game?
Son could. He could get you 2.
Sonny's gonna score 2, and Kane's gonna score 1.
Ooh, that's man. You just said they weren't anything. Come on, where's the love?
But you asked them compare. You asked me about a rivalry with City where they're not. They don't count for anything.
That's fair.
But I did also point out Sonny scores against us, and Sonny plays in big games, man.
Sonny does play in big games.
Not this season. He showed up
But
in the
look,
Leicester game after they
this
benched
is
him.
this is Arsenal's first time playing Spurs, right?
Nope. We beat him at home already this season.
Okay.
We beat him at home already this season.
Sonny gets up for this.
It's a rivalry game. Everybody gets up for it.
It's gonna be
Sonny
it's gonna be a game, but for the first time in a while, I'm confident that we can go in there and absolutely smash them. Because
I
what
agree.
are Spurs so good at doing this season? And what are Arsenal so good at doing this season? Spurs like to give goals in the first half.
Yep.
Arsenal
like to score quick goals. Yep.
We scored a ton of goals in the first half. We scored a ton of goals in the second half. But how many games have we come out and scored 30 seconds into the game?
Punch them quick. Yep.
Liverpool versus Brighton, so we're gonna come out flying. They don't ever. It could be 3-0 10 minutes into this game, man. Like if they don't show up, if they don't bring that desperation out of the gate, because that's the only way they can play. If they don't bring that out of the gate, we're gonna run them ragged, and I'm gonna sing. I'm gonna be so pumped. This is like the first time, like I say, it's the first time in a while that I've ever been like, yeah, first, whatever. We're almost looking ahead to the United game already. It's like, whatever, we got this one in the bag. I'm like super confident about it. And, as Grizz from the Big Six says, football's a humbler. So maybe I'm going to eat all these words, but I'm definitely pretty confident. Definitely pretty confident about that one. But again, there's another couple of more crazy games this weekend. Newcastle play Fulham at St. James's Park. And Mitrovic will be back because the suspension tomorrow is because 5 yellows. So he'll be back for Fulham for the Newcastle game.
Nice.
This is a tough one to call, man. This is another one that I agonized over. I think Newcastle have too much. I said 2-1 Newcastle. It's at St. James, man. It's so tough to play there.
Same. I think Newcastle wins at home.
Yeah.
I think Newcastle's got to respond after the FA Cup performance.
Yep.
I'm gonna go.
They beat Leicester 2-0 in the Carabao yesterday.
I mean, I haven't gone 2-0.
Give me 2-1. Mitro gets one.
There you go.
Joe gets one.
And it's Leicester, man. I mean, they beat Leicester. I don't even know how their manager still has a job. It's Leicester.
Oh, I can answer that one for you. I used to ask the same question there, Lewis. I used to ponder the same thing.
What did you say about Newcastle X?
I think they're going to go 2-0 since at home. Newcastle's flying.
That game's a wash.
Almiron is a beast.
Yeah.
I said 2-1. Lewis said 2-1. Patrick said 2-1. X said 2-0.
I got 2-0, yeah.
Yeah. X is the only one that's praying for a shutout there, and he might get some extra points in that one. Speaking of just a wonderful Brendan Rodgers-led club, huge match at the bottom. They're at Forest. Leicester at Forest is going to be just the worst game of the season. Just
0-0.
Oh, this is
1-1.
See, this could be a barn burner, though. It's so bad.
5-5.
It's like a 3-3, you know.
Oh my god!
You really going for a 3-3?
No, I'm not gonna go for 3-3. I'm just saying it has that potential. Would you say it's Forest at home?
It's at the city grounds.
At home, yeah.
Forest are a whole different animal at home. And Leicester.
Give me 2-1 Forest.
Oh,
brave man.
Oh.
Vardy drinks a Red Bull, goes and gets one in the 70th. That's one of my favorite clips ever. Vardy's on the bench to the 70th or 80th minute. Brendan Rodgers calls him over to the midfield line. He crushes a Red Bull smashes it, runs out there, scores a goal, takes his shirt off. He's like, yeah, bro, I got wings. Bro, it's the ultimate Red Bull commercial. It's the ultimate Red Bull commercial.
That
They
is the
should-
ultimate Red Bull
They should have signed it. They should have clipped it, paid the prim, whatever they wanted, because it was epic. It was, he crushes it,
That happened.
crushes the can, throws it down, goes and scores a goal. Epic.
I had a kid do that at halftime in one of my youth games, on one of my youth teams when I was in school.
God.
We're like, Alexander, what are you doing? He's like, I'm thirsty. I didn't bring any water. And he's chugging Red Bull.
Performance enhancing drugs. Yeah.
Yes.
My man's on that Vardy system.
Water, yes.
Screw TV12. Yeah.
And then another game that has become quite difficult to predict. Wolves host West Ham. Not sure about the quality of this game, but I think it's going to be tight. I said 1-1.
Wow.
Give me
I'm
1-0.
done with, so just like you're done with the Wolves or done with Palace, I'm done with the Wolves this season. They have cost me so many points thus far.
They've got a new team, a new coach,
No,
man.
I don't care. I can't do it.
And that's the reason I choose them 3-1.
Wow. I'm gonna go 1-0 Wolves.
3-1 Wolves. Let's go.
I'm going Hammers 2-1.
Well, that's bold. That is bold.
Ooh.
That's bold as brass. Right?
Ooh.
Oh man. You're not sticking with your boy Diego?
No, I'm worried Diego might
Diego.
kick somebody and get a red card.
Diego's gonna tank the whole. He's gonna
He
tank.
will, but it'll be after he scores a goal.
Yeah, of course.
I
He'll
mean,
be in the celebration of the goal scoring. He just runs up to the defender,
kicks him.
kicks him.
I really want to see somebody pull the Nistelrooy. Just run up to somebody and right in their face. Oh my god. Oh.
If you think about it, though, this is a spicy matchup. You got 14 points for Wolves. You got 15 points for West Ham. Somebody comes out of the bottom with a win.
Wow, they both have more than Graham Potter. Good
I mean,
job, boys.
This guy.
That's what I'm saying. Everton Southampton is a bottom of the table matchup. Forest Leicester bottom of the table. Wolves
This is fun.
City
This
is
should be
2-4.
fun.
Spurs Arsenal is 5-1. This is some tight games. I mean, even Villa Leeds is kind of close together in the table.
Mhm.
This is a hell of a weekend. I'm pretty
It
excited.
really is.
Cooler right next to each other. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I've already picked it out. I'm gonna watch City United, then Liverpool Brighton, and then I think there's only one 12 o'clock game. Can't remember which one it was. X sent me this spreadsheet, and all of the kickoff times are 10 o'clock. Like every single
for
game.
real?
Ooh.
I don't know how you did that. I don't know how you managed that. But every single one of these says 10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
I
10.
might have copied whenever I was changing the cells over. I might have drugged that one.
Brentford in Bournemouth is the 12:30 game.
Yes, I'll get to watch that one too. Yes, excellent. That should be good. It should be good. Well, at least one team should be good in that one. But I think
Spicy games.
we're getting into January, I think, like I've been saying, Valentine's Day, February 15th, right when Champions League kicks off again, we'll really know.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing everybody.
Yep.
It's gonna be good. And Palace have their say. Man, because they play Chelsea, they play United, they play Spurs soon. They played Spurs last week, actually. So they play Newcastle next week. Palace, man. They play United the week after that.
Yeah, they
Palace.
could really mess up the table. Yeah.
Sure, dude. If Palace just go on a winning run, that'd be disgusting. That'd be great. I would love it. They're playing all you guys.
It'd be great
Playing
for
all
you.
y'all. I love
It'd
that.
be great for you.
If there's snow in any of the games, you're gonna see all the table turn upside down. I just need snow in one of the games.
Yes.
I need the bright yellow ball, and then we just go from there.
Just go from there.
So I know we're probably close to wrapping it up, but I think we got to discuss this whole Greg Berhalter thing.
Ooh.
and Reina.
That's such a weird thing, man.
Yo, this is wild. Yeah.
It is. I mean, we're a real soccer nation now. I mean, we got
Boily Shore. That's all this is.
We got some
Boily Shore.
ridiculousness. Man, they might as well put this on the show with Rob Dyrdek. This is just some. This is dumb.
This is dumb.
It's just ridiculous.
It is, and it's petty, is what it is. It's just petty from
Like
both sides.
It's like
both
the dude
sides.
at the soccer dad that everyone hates because he's not even yelling at his own kid down there on the end of the sideline. He's yelling at everybody's kid.
He's yelling at everybody's kid.
So your mom has to get up and go down there to tell him to shut up and stop yelling at your kid. That's what Claudio Reyna turned into. How did this happen? How did you were a legend of U.S. soccer, and then
I mean, I was reading something because I'm enamored by this. I really am. And I will be honest, I lean Reina on this one, and I'm going to explain why. So I think this is a symptom of having so much of this, Berhalter was on the 94 team, Reina was on the 94 team, and there's just so much of that it just leads to drama. And I think that if Berhalter hadn't said anything publicly about Reina, I don't think this happens. But I think after that happened, that it's like, okay, we need to get our side out. And I do think it's ridiculous on how it came out, by the way. And I also don't like Triple G. I've said that for a long time, even when he's won. It's like, okay, he did well, but I think this is a symptom of American soccer and relying on the former guys instead of getting a totally different viewpoint. I was ecstatic to see that we reached out to Zidane. We're not going to get him, but I was ecstatic to see. Yeah, I was ecstatic to see that because that means that there's actually this idea of like, hey, we've got talent. We actually have to coach this group now.
But we tried that, and I hate Jurgen Klinsmann with every fiber of my being.
Why?
I mean, I'll never forgive him for not bringing Landon Donovan to the 2014 tournament.
That and he's a poor, he mismanaged that entire squad.
Not to mention, I don't know if y'all remember this clip, but before the 2014 World Cup, they asked Jurgen Klinsmann, hey, can USA win the World Cup? Alexi Lalas, when he heard this, had to go off screen and vomit because our coach said no to that question. You don't do that. That's what Scotty Parker said. And he's sitting on the couch right now.
Yeah, wear the badge to the press conference, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Right. Right.
As the coach, you don't go in front of the cameras and say, no, we can't win. No. Are you kidding me? No, our players aren't good enough. Shit canned. Out of here.
That's why my boy at Nottingham did not say that. That's why my boy at Nottingham Forest.
A winning mentality starts from the top. From the top. And if your coach says you can't win, you have no hope. There's no prayer. There's no hope. If the one guy that's supposed to be leading you and motivating you and getting you to play doesn't think you can do it, yeah, useless.
I can't put any of those points. I think the thing is, he said that, which was kind of obviously bristled feathers, but I think he did offer sort of a framework that did help improve the program, where he was like, hey, these guys need to be playing in Europe, which I mean, all of them don't need to, but you got to have your top flight guys playing against top flight guys, right. And that wasn't happening before. And the Donovan thing was silly because that was an ego thing, and that was all ego driven. But I don't hate him, but I agree. He said things that while a lot of people dislike Jose is one of my favorites because the man is brilliant. He knows how to talk to the press. He doesn't miss. And think about how many quotables come from Jose. Jose never talks about losing because in his mind he doesn't lose. And the funny thing is, the only place So I know you can see where I'm going. The only place he didn't win something, they let him go right before he had a chance to win something, which is why they still have never won anything.
I will say this on your you go X.
No,
go
I was
X.
gonna say though, it just, to me, again, it's more of about this is my problem with American soccer. This is my problem with top down. It's how we represent ourselves, it's how we're represented, first off, with our players in Europe and in domestic, how our league is represented, but then how we represent ourselves when we step onto this stage. We do it to ourselves. This World Cup was admirable. Probably one of the first ones where I thought, all right, the boys went there. Now it's not. Now it completely tarnishes that for me. Again, because it's how we represent ourselves on this international stage.
But does anybody else care?
No. I mean, this happens. I mean, shoot, you had what? Not Croatian. Serbian team. The players were sleeping with each other's wives. I mean, this is in the soccer world. This is a blip on the radar. I mean, truthfully. But as you were saying, X, sorry.
For something that we're trying to rebuild, the whole point of missing the whole detrimental crux to American soccer was missing the last World Cup. Cost us 10 years. We were on TV. We were finally starting to get games, sending our players overseas. We missed it. Then we had to kind of have this reset button, and now we're here again, and we're competing. We will be in the next one because we're hosting. It's just this. It's this representation that we're giving ourselves to this international world where we're wanting to be taken serious, but every time we're taken serious, you peel back the layer, and then there's something like this. There's something stupid or idiotic or so minute to the soccer world. This shouldn't even be news. Who cares? And you're right, Jake. Who cares? I don't care. I could care either way. It's just drama. And because we're Americans, because it's in our media, because we like it, because we eat on drama, we fiend off of this. And this is the problem with American trying to be taken serious in this international soccer world. They don't care. Who cares? Why are we wasting our energy on what happened 10 years ago with Berhalter and whoever he was dating? Don't care. I don't care. I'm sorry. I just don't. And I don't care I don't care how they played because they sucked. I don't care how they played because they might have been the best Americans. They were nothing compared to the 90s teams that were fielded internationally.
It would be cooler if they had, and you said it, if they had won something, if there was some if it was like
if they were the hockey team that went and beat the Russians, right? Like, it's completely different.
But I think you talk about American culture and you're right. But again, I think it comes down to, we talk about domestic league. And if you look at the World Cup squad, you're like, why is this guy there? Why is this MLS player there? It is a symptom of this idea of, okay, we got to keep the old guard in some form of control. I mean, you got Ernie Stewart, who's the president of U.S. Soccer now. You've got Greg Berhalter. He was the manager. Reina was a manager for the, I think, under 18s at one point. So I mean, it's that there's no
families. That's what
exactly.
It is in America. They've capitalized American side. And I mean that in all of sense. I'm not against capitalism in any way, shape, or form. They have capitalized on the American soccer. If you want to go into American soccer, you have to go through them. That's wrong. That's why we are 100 years behind everyone else. And we will be 100 years behind everyone else, because when the Berhalters and the Reinas are controlling stakes and controlling who gets in, controlling who plays, whose kid gets on the team, whose kid doesn't, and because he deserves a spot or not, if he has a name on the back of that jersey, he'll get in because that's the American way. That's our problem.
So Pulisic is going to be the coach in 2038.
In 2048, 2044.
2038. Pulisic at the helm.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But care about names. We care about names, so we'll hire a name.
Yep.
Yeah.
110%. And that's what Boyle, and here it is, all encompassing, full circle. Boyley's biggest problem, and it'll be our crux for the next 20 years. As long as he owns this club, it'll be our problem. He'll buy a name, because that's the whole point that why Tuchel got fired. He wanted to buy names. Tuchel told him no, so he got the hell out.
Well, who knows?
We are name driven.
maybe somebody will get it through his head, and he'll be able to take a step back and.
If once I get $6
It's
billion
already.
and slap him in the face with it.
Yeah, Todd Bowley. No, I'm saying that it's definitely going to be a process. I think that's something that Chelsea fans are going to have to come to terms with. You were saying it at the very beginning, Patrick, that this could be 3-4 years before you're back
It
to
could
where.
be.
Rename the club. We're the London Cowboys, baby. Let's go.
But yeah, we'll see them London Cowboys out on the pitch tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I'm looking forward
I'm
to
looking
it.
forward to it.
I'll definitely be watching. I'm glad that you guys all tuned in to watch
Absolutely.
this episode of the For the Badge podcast. We're going to go ahead and wrap it right there. Again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
Always.